Hey, 4-1. What's wrong with these niggas talking down on us, dog? Talking about we ain't doing what we do. Nigga, we done been out here about like 10 years, nigga. We getting old, goddammit. Let's get it. We made niggas put them rose bottles up. We made the whole city boss they like fuck. Boss they like fuck. We made niggas wanna go and hit hush. Bitch, we made niggas, you know we love to stunt. We made niggas put them rose bottles up. We made the whole city boss they like fuck. Boss they like fuck. We made niggas wanna go and hit hush. Bitch, we made niggas, you know we love to stunt.
Welcome back to the Georgia Tech Dynasty. It still feels weird for me to say. I'm so used to saying the Oregon State Dynasty, but no, we're with Georgia Tech now. We are a Yellow Jacket, and we're getting ready to begin the 2027 season, and we're doing that with a bye week, so we're going to focus on recruiting this week and a couple of preseason things as well. Welcome back to the channel. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Got an insane flux of new subscribers in the last couple of days, so welcome everybody that's new. Appreciate you guys coming along, and I hope you enjoy the journey. We're going to take a look at the Heisman Watch. Before we get going here, I don't expect to have anybody on this list, and there is nobody, but our former quarterback, Eric Copeland, is on there, and he's number 1, so shout out to Eric Copeland. We will be playing Oregon State this season. That was announced in the preseason video. I'll tag that right here. Be sure to go check that out if you didn't watch it. So let's take a look at things like the conference standings here, where we're projected to finish, preseason polls, all that good stuff. So we're expected to finish 6th in the Coastal behind Virginia Tech. So, you know, safe to say that people don't expect very much out of us, but hopefully we can prove them and everybody else wrong. Preseason polls, we did go over these in the preseason video as well, but here's a little refresher in case you missed it. We're way down at the bottom of the list, all the way at 92nd. In front of San Jose State, but right behind Virginia Tech, which is interesting. Another ACC team. I think we do play them this season. But Oregon State's number 1. Again, that's our former school. I encourage you to go check out our previous Dynasty in Corvallis with the Beavers. I'll tag it right here. 170 episodes of content, games, recruiting, all that good stuff. So go hit that up. But since you're here, let's go ahead and hit some Georgia Tech things as well. So we did some preseason recruiting last week, and now we're going to kind of whittle down our board a little bit, scout everybody that wasn't scouted last week, and really just look for some talent to bring into this year's team because, Lord knows, we could certainly use a lot of it. We're starting with Marcus Cutler here, a little middle linebacker. He's decent, a little slow, but decent speed, intangibles that we can work with. How about Jesse James? He's solid. The offensive line recruits that we've seen on the trail so far this year have been really good, so hopefully we can bring them in because we definitely have to revamp that offensive line. Terrence Lane, solid as well, 6'3", 277. Justin Johnson, an offensive guard, decent, man. I'm loving this. Anywhere between 66 and 72, 73 we can work with. We also need a kicker and a punter this year, so we're going to hammer those early on. So we'll hit Chaz Harris and Trey Hill. Added 2 of each to the board already, so if we can just get one of those 2, that'll be fine. I don't really care which one it is. Back to the offensive line, though. Justin Williams, again, decent. 66 overall, that's solid, man. Especially considering the fact we brought in 2, 56 overall guys in last year's class. Not by our doing. That's just kind of what we assumed. Same with defensive tackle, too. We got a 52 overall guy, and that was it besides Randy Grimes. So if we can get Alex Wilson, that'd be hype. Chris Williams as well, same deal there. Alvin Vincent I added because it said he runs a 4.3 40, but obviously that's not true because he's 87 speed and 75 acceleration, so a bit of cap on that one. Probably going to cut him pretty soon because he's just someone that's going to do nothing for us. Plenty of free points, though, so we can start doling out scholarships and things of that nature. As far as team needs go, we need a quarterback, apparently. I don't agree so much, but I do like to bring in quarterbacks every single recruiting cycle, so we'll look to bring 1 in because we just brought 2 in last year. We need a kicker, we need a punter, we know that. So really not a whole lot of team needs, but this talent, the roster as a whole, I mean, it's a 1-star school for a reason, so we're looking to upgrade and bring in some talent to replace the dudes that we already have at pretty much every position, but we're specifically looking for a scat back, and we're looking to revamp the offensive and defensive lines this season. So it's also going to be a smaller class. Only 11 guys, 11 seniors leaving, so 11 guys we can bring in this year. Could be a couple of juniors that go pro, but we can't account for that. So we're just going to plan on bringing 11 in, and then anybody else will be gravy on top. So I'm dropping 5s on dudes that I know that we want to go after, we want to recruit, and I got to reshuffle this board a little bit too. But I'm kind of going through and seeing which guys we actually seriously want to go after hard early on. Corey Marshall's going to the top. He's our top recruit as of right now in the offensive line. But just a little bit of reshuffling here with everybody. And if there's a lower overall, if there's a lower overall guy in the top 10, It means it's someone that's not very good, but someone we need to have at a specific position. So I don't always do the reshuffling based off of overall numbers, okay? But plenty of points to use, 6,500, so let's have some fun. Defensive end's kind of another spot I'm looking at. Looking to bring in an athletic, long, fast kind of athlete that can get to the quarterback, rush the passer, but also be a 3-down defensive end that can stop the run and things of that nature. Corey Hawkins, potential scat back. He's not terribly slow, but he's also not very fast, so we'll drop 5 on him. It's not like an instant impact thing. It's more of a, red shirt, wait a season, get your speed numbers up, and then by the time you're ready to go, you're 93 speed, 93 excel, and, you'd be ready to go. So 5 on him, 5 for Garcia as well. Decent linebacker. Marcus Cutler, another guy potentially. Linebacker is the strength of this team right now. We just gave him a scholarship too with the 5. No INSTA-COMMIT on that one, but we're going to recruit him. Terrence Lane, potentially. Jake Mayo. We have to have this guy, and we're getting him. Let's go. I mentioned this last week. Just based off his name alone and the fact that he's a punter, we have to have this dude on our team. So Jake Mayo, the first instant commit of this recruiting cycle. That's electric. That's a great start. It can only go up from here, right? So we're going to go ahead and boot off the other punter because he's our dude. That's massive, man. I always love to get those things done early on. We get the kicker, too. That's so hype. So we get the punter and the kicker committed week 1. So now we don't even have to worry about getting into signing day and signing, a terrible kicker. Kellen Johnson's on the board. Jake Mayo's on the board. That's the future of the special teams position. The position group that's actually the best on our team because they're A+ overall, which is just hilarious. But that's massive, man. We got the best punter, and we also have the best punter with the best name, if that makes sense. So love that. Now all we got to do is make the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and it'll come full circle for my boy. But that's good. So 2 instant commits on the board. That means we have 9 spots left in this recruiting class, and we can start to fill it with guys that aren't specialists because we don't need any more, and that's just mad annoying when you're getting into your, last week of recruiting, and you still got kickers and punters on the board, and you got to bring one in. So we took care of that. Just kind of going down to the bottom here. We got a lot of dudes on this board. I usually don't like to have this many people because it can get difficult to zero in and hone in on specific guys, but we got to move the quarterback up there. Mike Butler, he looks pretty decent. Anthony McKinney as well, a really good defensive tackle. Definitely a position we need to hit. Defensive tackle is not good for us. Our best player is 72 overall. And I don't know. That's definitely going to be the position of weakness for us this year. We're not going to be able to hold up with teams in the trenches. Luckily, our linebackers are good, so they can kind of clean up that mess a little bit. And we play with a free safety, so that helps too. But, yeah, our defensive line is going to be Swiss cheese, kind of. Robin Roberson, cool name. Not a great player, though. Same deal with Matt Little. He's actually good, man. 94 speed, 83 excel. Yeah, he's getting an offer right now. If he were to join our team right now, he'd probably be running back 1 because nobody on our team is even close to touching 90 speed. Everybody is like 86, 84 excel, just a bunch of power backs. I need a guy with some speed. We need speed everywhere, really. So we're going to look for just that. We're going back to the recruiting board and really just trying to find some fast dudes at wide receiver, some fast dudes at running back. We don't really have anybody that fits that kind of mold, and we definitely need it because that's what works in our offense. Also, need to add Calvin Johnson Jr. to the board. This is the recruit that I made in the last episode. Son of Calvin. He's a 4-star recruit, 72 overall, but I messed up when I made him. I thought when it was asking for his eligibility, it was senior in high school, but apparently they made him a JUCO senior. So if we get him, we're only going to have him for 1 season, but he's so good that he's going to absolutely ball out and be an absolute stud in the one and only year that he's in Atlanta. Unless we redshirt him. We could go that route as well, potentially. But son of Calvin from Bloomfield, Michigan. He is tall. He's fast. We scout him. He's an absolute gem. I mean, 92 speed, 85 excel, 83 jumping. That's the kind of player that we need. And obviously, he's a legacy-type player, so we're going to go after him with a full-court press. He's getting a Scally. He's getting the full 700. And all we're really battling against at this point is a bunch of MAC schools. So we should end up getting him. This is the first time I've ever created a recruit to actually recruit myself in a Dynasty. So we'll see what happens with that. But for the memes, we definitely have to get him on board. So we'll see how that one all shakes out. We're not in the top 5 or anything yet, so we'll see what kind of jump we can make in week 2, and we'll go from there. But now we have like 4,000 points to spend, so we're going to head and dole these out a little bit. Usually how I do this is I like to give out the full 700, but we're also at a point in which we need to bring talent in at a lot of different places, so I can't exactly just go all in on one guy or two guys. So I'm going to give out 350 to the top prospect at a certain position, and then if you're the second guy, I'm going to give you like 300 and just kind of go down from there. Recruit 1 at D-tackle, recruit 2 at D-tackle, recruit 3 at D-tackle, less points as we go. And also with that, if there's a position which we don't really need, but I kind of want to bring somebody in for, like cornerback there, you're going to get 100. We're going to, gauge your interest level and go from there. Another INSTA-COMMIT, though. Look at that. Mario Pruitt, 6'6", 263 from Florida, which is the pipeline state. Great state to have as a pipeline. We looked at this guy last week. He's a little interesting. So he's an athlete, but it doesn't give us his pass protection, run blocking numbers, so he could probably play offensive line. I'm not exactly sure. Based off the numbers you see there, he's a defensive lineman all the way, whether that be D-tackle or D-end, but I'm pretty sure since he's an athlete, he should be able to play offensive line as well. So versatile piece to bring in. That's great. So that's 3 INSTA-COMMITs now week 1. And we have 8 spots left on the board. So the button's going absolutely brazy, and it's still going brazy, man. Another one, Rob Woods, 3-star wide receiver, in-state guy out of Georgia. He's pretty good. 89 speed, 84 excel, 73 jumping. Not great, but he's a project kind of. He's a 2-year project. Redshirt 1 year, maybe see the field a little bit as a redshirt freshman, but by the time his redshirt sophomore season comes around, he'll be ready to go. So I don't mind that at all. Maybe a little ambitious giving him a scholarship in week 1. There's probably some better guys we could have found in the recruiting trail, but we already have 6 freshmen that just came in from last year's class at wideout. So he'll probably be the one and only that we bring in this class. I don't mind that, though, because like I said, I think eventually down the road he'll be good. So 4 INSTA-COMMITs week 1. I don't think that's ever happened. That's so many. I'm still hyped about the fact that we got the specialists out of the way, too, because those are just a pain in the rear end for sure. But, it also saves us points, too, to go after more prospects, which is massive. So we have about 500 points left. We're getting towards the bottom of the recruiting board, so we're giving out 50s, 100s, 75s here and there. It really just depends on how many points I've put on a guy at a certain position previously. But we're going to go ahead and just, at this point in the season, you can put 50 on a guy and see where you move up on the board, up or down. If he puts you back at 5th, if you start to, even take the lead. Just a good way to see where you're sitting with some of these recruits. We don't have enough points to hit these last 2 guys. And Jeff Garcia, I don't think warrants any points anyways. In fact, he's getting kicked. I mean, JUCO guy, he's 86 speed, 82 excel. Really not much of a future to have with us. Definitely somewhere else, but we just don't have time for that. Plus, we're bringing in a smaller class. So Matt Little, I think, is the guy at running back for this class. He's 94 speed, man. There's no debating that. And by the time he's ready to play and be that guy at RB1, he'll be an absolute stud. So he's the running back I think that we're going to zero in on, unless we find a different scat back potentially. But let's take one more look at the board, though. I want to see on the INSTA-COMMITs what their 40 times are and what their squat and bench numbers are, and potentially see if we could cherry pick Pruitt's run and pass blocking numbers. It doesn't look like they show them. That's so annoying. Like, you can't label a dude an athlete and not paint the full picture of who he is. You know what I mean? But whatever. Rob Woods, 4.44 40, so that's definitely promising. I'd be interested to see how they come up with those numbers, because if you're 89 speed, I feel like that's not that fast. But other guys, kicker, punter, I don't care what their 40 times are, their squat and bench numbers are. As long as you can boot the ball, that's all good with me. So successful week in recruiting, man. Just absolutely went off with the INSTA-COMMITs. We got a head coaching upgrade here, and if we hit this completely maxes us out as a head coach. So we're level 54. We've hit all the recruiting bonuses. We've hit all the gameplay bonuses. So Dana Dimmel is completely maxed out at head coach. So that's massive. I think we hit the locksmith one there. So we'll see if that can come in handy this season. But that's going to do it for week 1 recruiting. I guess we'll go ahead and advance to week 2 and get hyped for Notre Dame. So that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. Looks like we lost somebody to Georgia State, probably an INSTA-COMMIT. Can't all be good news. Don't care too much, though. We have so many different guys in the offensive line position on the board, so, we'll definitely recover from that. But next episode is going to be the team preview to give you guys an idea of who's on this Georgia Tech team this year in 2027. And then following that, we will have the Notre Dame game going on the road to take on the number 2 Fighting Irish. Should be an absolute banger. If you enjoyed this episode, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. I'll probably do recruiting episodes for the first first half of the season, because usually by the time the end of the season comes around, there's not much recruiting to be done. So I'll continue to do these. Let's get to 10 likes and I'll drop the second one. But thanks again so much for watching. Hit up all the content I tagged in the top right corner. And we'll be back tomorrow with the full team preview, followed by the gameplay between Georgia Tech and Notre Dame. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.